Hey there, what if I told you being broke isn't your fault, but staying broke might be? What if the difference between you and a millionaire isn't luck, talent, or even hard work, but a few hidden tricks your unconscious mind is begging you to learn? What if you could unlock those secrets? Starting today? Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, believed that our deepest fears, like the fear of poverty, control us more than we think. And when we're broke and desperate, those fears can trap us in a cycle of scarcity. But what if I told you that millionaires know how to break that cycle, not just with money, but with their minds? Today, we're diving into 6 mind-blowing tricks that millionaires use to get rich fast. Tricks rooted in Freud's theories about the unconscious, mixed with practical strategies that anyone can use. We'll explore why you're stuck, how your fears are holding you back, and how to rewire your mind for wealth. Plus, I'll give you 3 powerful questions to help you figure out what's really keeping you broke. Stick around. This could be the game changer you've been waiting for. Let's start with why being broke feels so heavy. Freud believed that our unconscious mind is packed with fears we don't even realize we have, and one of the biggest is the fear of poverty. He once said, "The unconscious holds our deepest anxieties, and for many, the fear of scarcity drives every decision." But what does that mean for you? Think about this. When you're broke, it's not just about the money. It's about the stress, the shame, the constant feeling of, "I'm not enough." Freud would say that's not just a reaction to your bank account, it's a signal. Deep down, you might be terrified of being powerless, of being seen as a failure, or of losing control. And that fear, it's been with you longer than you think. Freud pointed to childhood as the root of this fear. Maybe you grew up in a family where money was always tight, your parents fought about bills, or you felt the stress of not having enough. Or maybe you were taught that money equals worth, so being broke feels like a personal failure. Freud would say, those early experiences shaped your unconscious beliefs about money. And now, when you're broke and desperate, those old fears come roaring back, making it harder to escape. Let me give you an example. Meet Rachel. Rachel grew up watching her parents struggle. They worked long hours, but there was never enough money for anything extra. As a kid, Rachel felt ashamed when she couldn't afford the same clothes or toys as her friends. Now, as an adult, Rachel's always broke, even though she has a decent job. She spends impulsively, trying to feel good, but then panics when the bills pile up. Freud would say, Rachel's not just bad with money. Her unconscious fear of poverty, rooted in her childhood, keeps her stuck in a cycle of scarcity. She spends to feel worthy, but it only makes things worse. So let me ask you, what's your money story? Did you grow up feeling like there was never enough? Or maybe you were taught that money is bad, so you push it away without realizing it? That fear, it's the first thing holding you back. But don't worry, we're going to break it down with these 6 tricks millionaires use to get rich fast. Let's get started. Now, let's get to the first trick millionaires use. They rewire their money mindset. Freud believed that our unconscious beliefs control our actions, and for most of us, our beliefs about money are rooted in fear. Millionaires, though, they've learned to flip the script. Here's how it works. Most of us see money as a source of stress. We think, I'll never have enough, or money is hard to get. Freud would say, that's your unconscious talking, replaying old fears of scarcity or failure. But millionaires see money differently. They see it as a tool, a game, even a friend. They believe money flows to me easily, or I deserve abundance. That shift in mindset isn't just positive thinking. It's a way to quiet the unconscious fears that keep you broke. Let me tell you about David, a self-made millionaire I read about. David grew up poor, just like Rachel, but in his 20s, he realized his fear of poverty was holding him back. He started reading books on wealth, surrounding himself with successful people and repeating affirmations like, "I am a money magnet." At first, he felt silly, but over time, his unconscious started to believe it. He took bigger risks, started a business, and within 5 years, he was a millionaire. Freud would say, David didn't just change his habits, he changed his unconscious beliefs, which changed his reality. So, how can you do this? Start small. Every day, write down one positive money belief, like, "I'm capable of earning more," or "Money comes to me easily." Say it out loud, even if you don't believe it yet. Over time, you'll start to reprogram your unconscious, just like millionaires do. Think about your own money mindset for a moment. What do you really believe about money? Is it a source of fear or a source of opportunity? We've got 5 more tricks coming up, so let's keep going. Here's the second trick millionaires use. They face their fear of failure head-on. Freud believed that fear of failure is one of the biggest unconscious blocks to success. For many of us, being broke isn't just about money. It's about the fear of trying and failing. That fear keeps us stuck in safe jobs, safe habits, and safe choices that never lead to wealth. Millionaires, though, they don't let fear stop them. They know that failure is part of the game, and they've trained their minds to see it as a lesson, not a disaster. Freud would say, this is about confronting your unconscious anxiety. When you're afraid to fail, you're really afraid of what failure means: rejection, shame, or proving your deepest insecurities right. But millionaires have learned to push through that fear. Let me share a story. Meet Sarah, who's now a tech millionaire. Sarah used to work a dead-end retail job, barely making ends meet. She had a business idea, but was terrified to start. She kept thinking, what if I fail? What if I lose everything? But one day, she decided to face her fear. She started small, selling her product online while still working her day job. Her first launch flopped. She made $0. But instead of giving up, she learned from it, tweaked her approach, and tried again. Within 3 years, her business was worth millions. Freud would say, Sarah overcame her unconscious fear of failure, which freed her to take the risks that made her rich. Here's how you can do this. Start by naming your fear. What's the worst thing that could happen if you fail? Write it down. Then ask yourself, could I handle it? Most of the time, the answer is yes. You're stronger than you think. Then, take one small risk. Maybe it's asking for a raise, starting a side hustle, or investing a little money. The more you face your fear, the less power it has over you. Let me ask you, what's one money-related risk you've been avoiding? Maybe it's a job change, a new project, or even talking about money with someone. Hold that thought. We've got more tricks coming up. Here's the 4th trick millionaires use. They act as if they're already rich. Freud believed that our unconscious doesn't just react to reality, it reacts to how we behave. If you act broke, constantly stressing about money, hoarding every penny, or feeling unworthy, your unconscious will keep you in that scarcity mindset. But if you act rich, your mind starts to believe you are. This doesn't mean spending money you don't have. It means adopting the habits and mindset of wealth. Millionaires carry themselves with confidence. They dress well, speak with authority, and treat money like it's abundant, not scarce. That behavior sends a signal to their unconscious. I'm already successful. And that belief opens doors to real success. Let me share an example. Meet Elena, a fashion entrepreneur who's now a millionaire. When Elena was broke, she made a decision. She'd act like she was already successful. She started dressing in the best clothes she could afford, speaking confidently about her business idea, and networking with people way above her level. At first, she felt like a fraud, but over time, her confidence grew, and so did her opportunities. People started taking her seriously, and within a few years, her fashion brand took off. Freud would say, Elena's behavior rewired her unconscious, which changed how the world saw her. Here's how you can do this. Pick one rich habit to adopt this week. Maybe it's dressing a little sharper, even if it's just for a Zoom call. Maybe it's speaking with more confidence when you talk about money. Or maybe it's treating yourself to one small luxury, like a nice coffee, without guilt. Act as if you're already rich, and your unconscious will start to catch up. Let me ask you, how would you act if you were already a millionaire? What would you do differently? We've got 2 more tricks to go, so let's keep going. Now, let's talk about the 5th trick. Millionaires invest in themselves first. Freud believed that our unconscious often ties our self-worth to external things, like money or approval from others. When we're broke, we feel unworthy, so we don't invest in ourselves. We think, I can't afford it, or I'm not good enough. But millionaires? They know that investing in themselves is the fastest way to wealth. This means spending time, money, and energy on your own growth. Millionaires take courses, hire coaches, and read books. They're always learning. They know that the more they invest in their skills, mindset, and knowledge, the more money they'll make in the long run. Freud would say, this is about breaking the unconscious belief that you're not enough. When you invest in yourself, you're telling your mind, I'm worth it. Let me tell you about James, a millionaire I came across in a documentary. James was broke in his early 20s, working a minimum wage job. But he decided to invest in himself. He saved up $200 and bought an online course on digital marketing. He spent nights studying, even when he was exhausted. Within a year, he landed a freelance gig that paid triple his old salary. He kept investing, more courses, more skills, and now he runs a 7-figure marketing agency. Freud would say, James broke his unconscious cycle of unworthiness, which opened the door to wealth. Here's how you can start. Invest in yourself this month, even in a small way. Maybe it's a $10 book on money management, a free YouTube course on a skill you want to learn, or even setting aside 30 minutes a day to read about success. You're worth it, and that investment will pay off. Think about this. What's one thing you've been wanting to learn, but keep putting off? How could that skill help you make more money? We've got one more trick left. Let's wrap up strong. Here's the final trick millionaires use. They think long-term, but act now. Freud believed that our unconscious often keeps us stuck in short-term thinking. When we're broke, we focus on surviving today, not building for tomorrow. But millionaires? They play the long game while taking action every day. This means having a big vision for your future, like owning a business, retiring early, or traveling the world, but breaking it down into small, daily steps. Millionaires don't wait for the perfect moment. They start where they are, with what they have. Freud would say this is about overcoming the unconscious need for instant gratification. When you think long-term, you're training your mind to delay gratification for bigger rewards. Let me share one last story. Meet Priya, a real estate millionaire. Priya was broke and desperate in her 30s, living paycheck to paycheck. But she had a vision. She wanted to own rental properties. She couldn't afford a house, but she started small. She saved $50 a month and read everything she could about real estate. After a year, she had enough for a course that taught her how to buy her first property with a low down payment. She took action, bought her first rental, and kept going. Today, she owns 10 properties and lives off passive income. Freud would say, Priya's long-term thinking broke her unconscious cycle of scarcity, while her daily actions made it real. Here's how you can do this. Pick one long-term money goal, like saving $10,000, starting a side hustle, or paying off debt. Then take one small action today. Maybe it's setting up a savings account, researching a business idea, or cutting one unnecessary expense. Think big, but start small, and you'll be amazed at where it takes you. Let me ask you, What's your long-term money goal? And what's one tiny step you can take today to get closer? Before we wrap up, I've got some questions to help you dig deeper. Now that you know these 6 tricks, let's make them real for you. Here are 3 powerful questions to help you figure out what's really keeping you broke and how to break free. Grab a pen, pause the video if you need to, and let's do this together. Question 1. What's my biggest unconscious fear about money? Think about your money story. Are you afraid of never having enough like Rachel? Or maybe you're scared of failing like Sarah? Write down your fear. It's the first step to facing it. Question 2. How am I acting broke? Look at your habits. Are you stressing about every penny, avoiding risks, or surrounding yourself with scarcity? Write down one broke habit you can change, like acting as if you're already rich or investing in yourself. Question 3. What's my long-term vision and my first step? What's your big money goal? Maybe it's saving for a house, starting a business, or retiring early. Write it down. Then write down one small action you can take today, like Priya saving $50 a month. That first step is everything. These questions will help you see the unconscious blocks keeping you broke and give you a roadmap to break free. Take a moment. Did any of these spark a realization for you? Let's wrap up with a quick chat. So, have you ever felt broke and desperate, like you'll never get ahead? These 6 tricks, they're not just for millionaires, they're for you. Freud showed us that our unconscious fears keep us stuck, but with the right mindset, habits, and actions, you can break free and build the wealth you deserve. If this video gave you a new perspective on money, I'd love for you to hit that like button and subscribe. I'm diving deeper into Freud's theories and more practical tips to transform your life in more videos coming soon. And let's talk in the comments. Share your biggest money fear or the first step you're going to take toward your long-term goal. I'll be reading and replying, so let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching. Take those questions, start using these tricks, and I'll see you in the next one.